4 out of the 5 God Seeds are pretty much out of the way. I mean, Wolfen is technically still potentially capable of doing things. I doubt he will, just because now he's in a spot where he's if he gets set up pretty easily against somebody who can do another thing like Zareth. I mean, obviously Natsu's the only one that's gonna probably be going for Zareth, but I don't think Wolfen would know that just going into it. I doubt he's got that much knowledge on this situation, on these characters. But obviously, all it would take is them to figure out, like, go for Zareth, and he's screwed. So I would imagine he's not going to be coming back. But the only one left is the God Seed of Alderaan. It's Alderaan's kind of just little avatar of himself. And so far, it seems to have been implied that he's gotten weaker every time one of his God Seeds, gets defeated. I'm guessing that, like, the link to the main body, gets weaker every single time. Because if it's just straight Alderaan, like himself, like in total, gets weaker each time a God Seed is defeated, then I'm just like, why did you even send him out in the first place, my guy? I feel like it's just when it comes to the God Seeds, and then his full version will be, still at normal power. But in the next fight, obviously, we got Natsu versus him, because the only other thing going on at the time, I mean, like, the White Witch could get up. If she gets up, I really hope that we just get a name for her. Just have her name drop whoever, like, whatever we're going to call her, instead of just the White Witch. But other than that, I would say, like, just seeing, like, is Brandish going to, make Gajiel giant this chapter? And I'm curious if she's able to make someone that big, like, by herself, or maybe she'll, like, require help. Like, maybe Lucy could make a Brandish, like, Gemini copy, which would be awesome, because if so, that would prove a lot of my claims about, like, Lucy's level of strength. Because if she's capable of doing that, obviously, then she's going to be Spriggan level, and Lucy at that level is like, well, that's pretty big considering, like, blah, like, you look at some of the stuff she's done. But obviously, like, for her, it's more about, like, the total magic for her, because she's a summoner. I mean, we already saw her S-class in the Grand Magic Games, because she was able to summon 2 gold spirits, whereas Angel, who was confirmed S-class level, could only do 1 gold spirit and 1 silver. Just saying. But obviously, the big stuff in the next chapter, otherwise, will be Natsu versus Alderaan, or at least the God Seed version of Alderaan. And I know it's not, it's a representation of Alderaan, kind of. Like I said, it's kind of like his avatar, his little conduit in this. Unless it turns out that this Alderaan, like this God Seed, is actually not Alderaan, and it's just like maybe some seed who kind of considers himself like that. I don't know. I feel like I'll just go with the base answer for right now, and that it's Alderaan's, like, avatar. And I would imagine that version can use dragons, like, well, it'd be dragon power. It's not dragon slaying, because it would have to specifically be dragon slaying magic, but dragon abilities. And something that Fairy Tail has always been pretty consistent about, because when you look at it, it's Dragon Slayer fights. Because when you look at, like, a lot of the fights, you'll have, like, the, like, traditional casters, like someone like Gears. Like, we just had Gears, and I thought Gears was gonna be more of a fighter, but he ended up being more of a traditional caster. But somebody like him, who's just got a very hacks hard to figure out power, very dangerous power, and you just got to figure out how to get around it. And then they're not gonna have the best durability and stuff in order to take, like, big attacks. But whereas if you have someone like somebody like when was that? Like when we had the Nibiru versus Wendy fight, like that had some pretty brutal moments. Like when he was getting roughed up for being a little girl against this weird cannibalistic psycho. But Dragon Slayer, and obviously Dragon, like, fights in Fairy Tail have always been pretty brutal. So if the next chapter begins on that fight, and I feel like it will, because it's chapter 60, and I know Hiroshima likes to do stuff on, like, number specific chapters, but if we get that, I can see the fight really kind of just getting a bit aggressive early off, and then just setting up for more just a big battle. Because with the way that I see it, this is the way that I see it, I think the Alderaan Godseed fight is going to be the main fight of this arc, because I personally don't think that they're going to defeat the god or the dragon god version of Alderaan this arc. I could be wrong, But I think that he's going to lose at a later arc because he seems too important to lose now. And I don't know. I'd like to imagine that it'll be one of those spots. Like even if they're able to defeat the God Seed version, because they set up ways that, oh yeah, each of the other God Seeds, when they lose that like that God Seed Alderaan gets weaker. But I don't know. I think if it's that easy to defeat Alderaan, it'll de-hype the other dragon gods a bit. Because with Mercephobia was different, because that wasn't really, there were elements of Natsu's power, because there were clear hints at his Aetherius power still being there, and when it comes down to it, Natsu was forced to get powered up by Ignia, who Ignia obviously is in the dragon god, so that level of boost made sense. It just depends now, like, how are they going to deal with, like, the gods, or the actual dragon god Alderaan. I'd like to imagine that they defeat the God Seed version, lose to the dragon god version, but because maybe something with the dragon, or the God Seeds, maybe the dragon god has to, like, maybe Alderaan has to do something. Like, he's like, I have to go talk to Selene because of something. Because Selene seems, out of the 5, because we haven't seen Viernes yet, but at least out of Mercephobia, Ignia, Selene, and Alderaan, Selene seems like she's the smartest. She seems way more clever, and I'm guessing just by the fact that, like, when we saw the White Witch lose control over all of the Fairy Tail members, I'm guessing that was something Selene did, and maybe Selene, like, is gonna have, like, a larger variety of magic, because we know dragons can use magic. We know that from back in the Grand Magic Games when Zirconia used it, and then Wendy obviously commented and is like, dragons can use magic. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that it's possible, it's not frequent. Like, Zirconis using magic was something to set up. It's kind of like the Aetherius can use magic, even though they primarily set in Curses. It's just something that they can use. It doesn't mean they have to use it. But I think Selene having more, after clearly being like a more intelligent character out of the ones that we've seen, especially also like when you look at the 5 so far, Alderaan's been sleeping for 300 years. Mercephobia has been trying to reform. He's been just trying to help people. Ignia, we don't know exactly what Ignia's been doing this whole time. We just know that Ignia is, he's a bit of a crazy guy, but as far as we know, he's not doing like other, magics. We don't know anything about Viernes, but from what we've seen, Selene seems like she's probably been the most active in the 400 plus years since fleeing from Acnologia. So we'll see how that story piece goes. I'm very interested to figure out what exactly the plan for this whole next like couple chapters is going to be, because like I said, I can see Alderaan, the God Seed version, losing, but I don't know. I don't see the version of him that is I don't see the Dragon God version of him losing. I could be wrong. It could easily be wrong and they beat him, but I think the God Seed will go down and the actual Alderaan will be saved for a later date. Just because right now, unless like his full version gets weaker by defeating the God Seeds, which then I'll just say, well, like, why did you even send them out, man? But I don't really see otherwise how they can beat him right now. I think there's potential later, obviously, like Natsu's like dragon powers and his Aetherius powers clearly is like, if he can unlock that normally and control it and like be able to handle it where it's not burning up his own arms, then yeah, he's definitely gonna be able to start fighting these guys. And we know that he's got a lot of hype, and he's clearly got a lot like room to grow and become more powerful, because obviously on top of that, he's gonna eventually fight Ignia, so he's got to get to that level at some point. So we'll see. It's just a waiting game at this point. We should, what's it today? Wednesday, so 6 days till the next chapter. I'm hoping in the next one we get, like, I'd like to see some Godshield spotlight with the whole Kaiju and trying to go after God or Dragon God version Alderaan. I don't think it's gonna go well for him, but as long as we get something for Godshield deserves it. But I mean, what I can think of is like maybe he learns how to just do like the enlarging command T on like command. Maybe he learns just how to do that, not shrinking, he just has like a one specific mode size he can become giant. I think that'd be pretty cool. But other than that though, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about this and what you're expecting to come have in the next chapter. I made this picture really basic. Because there wasn't a whole lot going off the last chapter to really work around, and I just was like, all right, we just get to the root idea of what's going on next chapter, and the root of what's to come and what might come out of each of these guesses and possibilities. So we'll see in the next chapter, a couple days from now, and we'll see like how this all goes down. But other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.